Yo, what is up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video where today we have got some Ultra League madness for you with some newly built Pokemon from me. Tapu Fini is absolutely busted in the Ultra League. It is so good. It has so many great matchups in the meta with that water fairy type being similar to Azumarill in the Great League, or at least Azumarill used to be so dominant. Now it's been pushed out of the meta a little bit with Reggie getting Zap Cannon and Trevenant being everywhere. But Tapu Fini is so good. This Walrein is throwing an Icicle Spear at me. I'm not falling for it. And we're going to get off a Zap Cannon. Registeel, of course, is so good as well. And we're rocking our rank 1 Alolan Sandslash in the back. And I know this has to be another spear, so I'm willing to take this. So our Tapu Fini and our Registeel don't have the best IVs, but our Sandslash is a rank 1 Alolan Sandslash. It has one more level to be powered up. I was just short on the XL candies. But with that community day, I'm just about there. I just need like 16 more XL candies or something for that one extra level, and he'll be fully powered up. Going for the Bulldoze here. Hopefully we can land it. We do through the shield, and I'm actually willing to let my Sandslash go here because I've got 2 shields. And I mean, if we get rid of this Ampharos, I can't imagine they have like another hard answer to our Tapu Fini. So we'll see. Ends up being a Gengar. I'm cognizant of the fact that they were going to try and catch there, so I didn't throw my Surf right away. I overfarmed a bit, and now we're in a pretty comfortable position. We can safely shield here, and you're going to see a bit of a flex coming up shortly. Obviously, it's the last Pokemon. I can just Surf, but we catch the move instead. What's it going to be? It's a Shadow Ball. Unnecessary catch on the Shadow Ball. And then we go for the Surf to take out Mr. Gengar. Gotta have some fun with it. And we take a win in game number 1. So prior, I think I had Swampert. and Giratina with Sandslash, and it wasn't working too well. So we switched it up to this team. We built the Tapu Fini. Once again, it's a 14, 15, 15. It's not the best IVs, but I looked up on the PV Poke Matrix if having these IVs versus like a solid rank would flip any matchups. And to be honest, it didn't really flip-flop any significant matchups. So I didn't feel like I was missing out on much. And that's why we elected to just settle with the 14, 15, 15. Giratina with Shadow Claw is a pretty tough lead because it's going to dish out neutral damage and outpace our Tapu Fini while resisting the water guns. And then with this moveset on Registeel, we can only hit it for resisted damage. This is where Flash Cannon would be pretty nice. I actually was running Flash Cannon until the other day on my Ultra League Reggie because I thought it was helpful against things like Nidoqueen and Trevenant, but you just kind of need Zap for things like Jellicent, Talonflame, and just having that automatic debuff can be so useful. I feel like I live this move, so what I'm actually planning to do here is bank the Focus Blast. So you see I keep that Focus Blast for later, which is pretty valuable rather than just throwing it at the very low Giratina. Here's a bit of a mistake. I try and go for 2 Surfs here. I get the shield, so it doesn't really matter, but I should have just gone for 1 Moonblast since I was only getting to 1 move anyway. And now we've got 2 shields for Mr. A-Slash, and we're hoping he can close. I was worried they had like a fighter or something in the back, like a Scrafty, because they were double weak to A-Slash. In comes Cresselia there, triple weak to A-Slash. Triple weak. And then I didn't live 1 Psycho Cut there, so I should have just got off the Focus Blast. That's a mistake by me. because I had the Focus Blast loaded. I tried to do one lock on, but I didn't live the one Psycho Cut. So getting off the Focus Blast would have been nice for some chip damage, but honestly, a Focus Blast wouldn't do much anyway to Crest, so a slight mistake. A little too greedy there, risking it. And so many charge moves are being thrown here. We got to be careful. You see the timer is coming up now. A little bit scary. The Sylveon should be pretty dry because it just Moonblasted before it dipped. The timer is winding down. I'm going to get to one move, so I go for the Bulldoze. It does more damage. Bulldoze lands and puts the Sylveon lower than our Sandslash, so we get the win if you're unfamiliar with how that works. If you have more Pokemon than the other person and the timer goes, you win. And if you have the same number of Pokemon still in play, it's whichever Pokemon has more health. Actually, I'm such a noob, guys. Nice little catch on the body slam here. I always forget if it's percentage of health or if it's total HP. Let me know in the comments down below. Is it your percentage of health or your total HP? So for example, like a Chansey might look really low, but it might still have more HP than something like a Haunter. But percentage-wise, like the Haunter would have more. I would think it has to be percentage, right? Percentage of health. I feel like that makes the most sense. But yeah, tens of thousands of PvP games played, still learning, always learning. We try to make a catch here, unsuccessfully. I'm gonna respect an Aeroblast. It is an Aeroblast, so a nice call. Gonna get off an Ice Punch here. Lugia's very bulky, so this probably won't quite KO. And I'm not sure if he's at the Aeroblast, but I want to save my shield. And he is. That's going to deal a huge chunk of damage. And he gets the unnecessary boost for one Dragon Tail. And there's a Scrafty in the back. So, to be honest, it's kind of good that we saved our Reggie. Because now Reggie gets off a move. And the safest thing to do here is just to let our Sandslash go down. We don't want to give up Switch. We've got all this energy. I feel like Moonblast would kind of be overkill. I think just going straight for Surfs is probably the play. Our opponent makes a nice catch, but to be honest, it doesn't really change much because I can just use Reggie as like a sponge to absorb this damage. I even undercharge this to try not KO fully. And look at that. That's kind of nasty. That is kind of nasty of an undercharge. Do I get to the blast? I'm not sure if I would have, but I do scare them into throwing their move. They undercharge. Oh, I think he paused there. So I don't think I should have reached this Focus Blast. But Tapu Fini was healthy enough where it would have just water gunned down anyway if we don't reach that Focus Blast. So, Rise, you only won that game because of lag. I disagree. I think the lag only made it a little bit more one-sided. I made some coffee and I totally forgot it. You ever make your coffee and you like forget about it and then it gets cold? I do that like all the time. Okay, Nidoqueen, this is kind of tough, right? Because our Reggie only can hit this for resisted damage. And they Poison Fang bait us like a savage. This game is going downhill quickly. Everything is going wrong right now. We get off the Zap. So he's attack debuffed. We're defense debuffed. He's going to go straight Pup. We should be able to get to another one here, even if he foul plays us. I decided to go for the Zap. That way if he shields, he'll be debuffed another stage. So back to normal, I guess. He does shield. I can't really swap out. I kind of have to let myself get farmed down there. So the Scrafty's back to normal attack stat, basically, since he pupped twice and we debuffed him twice. We're going to go for a huge water gun down here. I know I'm going to have to take another move, but I'm okay with that. Because now I'll have all this energy to threaten the... I'm at 100 energy now. I'm keeping my eye on that corner. It is a Greedent. So I'm going to throw one Surf. I'm going to swap. And he swaps. And this actually is really good for me. Because now I should be able, as long as I don't get baited here and they get to an Earth Power, I should be in a pretty good spot. Because I landed the Ice Punch. I do get baited. He gets to another move. I'm just hoping this isn't enough for the Earth Power. It's just a Fang. Totally fine. And now we're just going to try and chip away. This is a little tricky, right? Because we are double debuffed from those Poison Fangs. So we kind of want to swap out of here. But we also, if we swap out, we're giving the Greedent a nice little bullet seed down. So I go for the Surf here. I feel like he kind of has to shield this since it does the most damage. He does shield. Do I get there? I do, and I think our opponent paused. I think they should have been able to bullet seed me down there. So I think we got really lucky there. Unfortunate for our opponent. I'm not sure I should have won that game. I think our opponent deserved to win that one. But unfortunately, they suffered a pause after that charge move, and it allowed my Tapu to get to another Surf. All right, good lead here against Swampert. This is where we want to see it, right? Our back line is pretty weak to Swampert. I'm not even going to bother building up to Moonblast. I just kind of want to get this damage off, especially since it's a Shadow Swampert. I feel like Moonblast would almost be unnecessary. We're able to correctly shield the Earthquake. They swap into Wall Rain. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm building up energy for later, I guess. And now I'm going to swap Reggie. Okay, kind of interesting. Going to go for the Zap. And because both of these Pokemon are so bulky and Walrein is an Ice Water type, so it doesn't get Stab, same type attack bonus on Earthquake, I know that I can safely just no-shield this Earthquake. You see it does even less than half after the debuff, which is pretty crazy. Just going for the Focus Blast here. I want to get off my move first. And I land it, so that's huge. And now I assume Swampert probably comes back. Swampert's getting awfully low. Definitely not going to shield, because he's probably just going to Hydro Cannon me and potentially try and farm me down. I don't want that to happen, so I aggressively swap in my Tapu Fini against the Drapion now. I go for the Moonblast. This is kind of dumb, to be honest, because he almost has to shield. Like, that's such an obvious shield, so I'm not sure why I did that. Maybe I would have got to another Surf. I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking, okay, how do I play this out? The reason I decided to come in with my Sandslash is because they could potentially get some crunch debuffs, right? So this will allow me to clear my debuff. Definitely going to shield this one. Getting out of there with Reggie. Swampert comes in and throws the move. It would have been so close. I think we live one more Mud Shot from there. It would have been incredibly close on that Focus Blast. I think our opponent had to commit to the farm down, but there's a chance our Reggie just barely reaches that Focus Blast. To be honest, I'm not sure. Next game. Incineroar. Oh, man. Okay. So this is... we have to see it there. And then this is super awkward, right? Because our backline cannot deal with that Incineroar. That Incineroar destroys our backline. But we also don't really have an answer other than our Tapu Fini to this Escavalier, so we kind of have to stay in. So this game is going to be really tricky. I'm almost forced to shield this and Water Gun down. I need to keep my Tapu in play. And then what's going to come in? Swampert comes in. So that's right. We're swapping our Registeel into a Swampert. And the reason being is because we need to keep that Tapu alive for our opponent's Incineroar. If I just stay in there with my Tapu against Swampert and I let it go down, the Incineroar just sweeps our back line. So had to make that play. Gonna try and save my shield for the Tapu. I go for the Focus Blast here. Kind of interesting. A shield is likely. But I guess I figured, even with a Focus Blast... Oh. And now I'm debating whether I want to shield this or not. I decided not to since I know I live and still get off my move. And I either saved a Focus Blast or was like one lock-on away. And the Incineroar actually throws again. So this is great for us. Incineroar should not get to another move. So I can actually come in with my Sandslash here, who can hopefully close out the game. Opponent gives us a beautiful farm. The Swampert's still super healthy though. And I don't want to risk like trying to catch and then just giving the Swampert extra farm. So my plan is just to stay in here until I think there might be an EQ. And then I swap, and look at this. I catch a move. What's it gonna be? It's a Hydro. So this Swampert probably had Sludge Wave. It probably didn't have EQ. Which makes this a little bit safer for us. And you also saw, even though it was like a catch, it wasn't really a catch because the Reggie would have gotten off the Focus Blast anyway. Cresselia. So here I'm going to swap my Registeel straight away because I have two better answers for the Cresselia, right? Tapu Fini, if it has Grass Knot, we'll probably lose that matchup. So we swap in our Reggie. We're met by a Galv, and as you see, with them taking that first Zap Cannon, this is not a comfortable matchup for Galv, and now they're lunging us. People love their debuffs. I don't blame them. Debuffs are fun. Yeah, they're just going straight lunge, just kind of wild. Now we're going to go for a very aggressive lock-on down. I don't really agree with this person's play of going for 3 lunges. I think maybe you lunge first and then you just go 2 discharges. Because if you lunge, then you probably live the 2 zaps. And here it's tempting, right, to like swap out because we're so far debuffed. But the correct play, I think, here is the safest play is just to let my Registeel go down and do as much chip damage as possible, because then I have my Sandslash aligned with Cresselia, which is a very dominant matchup for Sandslash. And we'll have Tapu against whatever is in back. So even if this Cresselia gets a ton of farm, that's okay, because we know Sandslash can tank it. And now this is pretty awkward, because this is like a pretty neutral matchup, and this Walreign's ahead on energy. I go for a Surf Bait here. A shield here would be really nice. And I do get the shields. That's big. I'm debating whether I want to shield. I'm going to tank it because I feel like I might need to save a shield for an Earthquake on my Sandslash. Now we're going to go for the Moonblast. It gets shielded. And they combo play us very nicely with Cresselia, but this is all right because now I am going to commit to a full Shadow Claw down on this Cresselia, because Bulldoze, as I tend to say, last time I said it, I got a comment like, if I had a penny for every time Rise said Bulldoze is a bad move, but Bulldoze is a very bad move. So it doesn't do that much to Walrein. So I'm going to need to land 2 of them to take out the Walrein, even though it's already been chipped quite a bit. First bulldoze coming through. Boom. Not really worth a boom. Doesn't do that much. Second bulldoze coming through. Will this be enough? The timer is also almost winding down. And Sandslash with a buzzer beater victory. Like Steph Curry from 3. And we get a 5-0. That's set. Very nice. Little frillish as a reward. Little jellyfish. I saw a scary thing on the on TikTok, actually. The news TikTok. Same thing, right? Where a couple was on their honeymoon, I think, in Australia, and a guy got stung by a box jellyfish. Very scary, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. Okay. Awkward lead, right? This thing, if it has Thunderbolt, like, can kind of beat our whole team, but all 3 of our Pokemon have some play against it. I shield in case they have Thunderbolt, and it's actually a Rock Slide, so probably not a wise shield from me. Gonna go for a Surf here. And I get a shield, which is pretty nice. I wasn't expecting the shield per se. We do swap our Reggie, and you might be thinking, oh no, Rise, why'd you swap? Now there's a Scrafty on your Reggie. Well, to be honest, I think this is actually the right play, because if I don't swap out and I just play out that lead matchup, the Scrafty could potentially, just run through my whole back line. So this way I lure out the Scrafty. They make a smart play there going for foul play, because if they had gone for pup, I would have reached my next move. This should just be a power-up punch, so I'm perfectly fine taking this. We get the water gun down. We've got lots of energy. Gonna get off double Surf here. I'm like 1 water gun away from my next Surf. Debating whether I want to shield or not. I do shield. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that was wise to shield that. But I was like hoping, like, please don't be triple counter. Please don't be triple counter. And it's Wall Rain. So I'm going to get off my Moonblast here. I'm really hoping this lands. And it does land. That's huge. Because now I can come in with Sandslash. And I know Sandslash should be able to live in Earthquake. And it lives with enough health where it's still not in Icicle Spear range. Because that Icicle Spear would be double resisted. So they have to land 2 Earthquakes. I go for a Bulldoze and they actually let it go. And we take the win. I think they were thinking their win con was probably calling an Ice Punch bait there. Because think about it, even if you shield the Bulldoze, you still have to expend an Earthquake to take out my Sandslash. And then it's a race to the Surf on Tapu versus another Earthquake. So even though you might be thinking, like, why didn't they shield? I think that was probably the correct play, was to no shield that. Steelix, our whole team is pretty solid against Steelix. So a terrific lead. In comes Blastoise. I hadn't seen the swap yet, so it took me a second to react. But what I decided to do is take the move so I'm not like behind energy, and then I swap Registeel. This way I have energy stored. I'm going to shield the first one because I feel like switch advantage could matter here. If, let's say, he had like a fighter in the back. Well, I guess if you had a fighter in the back, then Tapu would just sweep. But we get a nasty little lock on down. In comes Heracross. So this is not good for Reggie, obviously, but fine overall. I actually get to another Zap Cannon here, which is pretty crazy. I land it, and now I feel like we're in a pretty comfortable position. And the Hera is actually forced to throw a move here. They Rock Blast us, and they get a counter. I come in with Tapu. And my plan here is to just, like, land a Surf or 2, and then kind of just sacrifice my Sandslash. That way I can just save a shield for my Tapu Fini and Water Gun down the Heracross. And our opponent actually top lefts before seeing the back Pokemon. So definitely just a favorable team comp there for us. And Reggie and Tapu were so dominant together that Sandslash didn't even need to show his face that game. He got the game off. Load management for Sandslash. Call him Kawhi Leonard. Tapu Fini versus another Deoxys. We just saw this lead a couple matches ago. And someone in chat told me that like almost every Deoxys runs Rock Slide in Ultra League because of Talonflame. So I decided to let this one go. Fortunately, it was just a Rock Slide. I am going to shield this one because, like I said, with this team, if there's, for example, a Scrafty in back, I need to preserve my Tapu Fini. I get a shield back. Unsuccessful on the catch. There it is, a Scrafty. Last time we saw these two, what was in back? It was a Wall Rain, so I'm cognizant that that could be the case again. Gonna go for a Focus Blast here. Get shielded. But that's fine with me, right? Because my Tapu Fini can get to a Moonblast to take this Scrafty out. But I actually get to another Focus Blast. So this will put it quite low. Should put it within Water Gun downrange. Even though this is a boosted foul play, I feel like I can still take it. It's a double boosted. Oh, he actually goes for pups. That's really helpful for me. You know, no, there's no way I actually would have lived the, there's no way I would have lived actually a double boosted foul play plus counters. So I got pretty lucky there. They went for the pup. I decided to just go straight for the Bulldoze here. I know the Deoxys is low to the point where my Tapu has so much energy, it might be able to just clean up. Crunch comes through. Going for an Ice Punch here. I know this won't KO, but it's going to put it very low. I snuck a Shadow Claw there. I call the Psycho Boost. It KOs me anyway. The game doesn't allow me to click my Surf, so I have to expend the shield. I was so upset when that happened. And now I just have to hope that Drapion doesn't have a move, and apparently it did not have a move. So we take the dub. Actually, I just assumed Drapion wins CMP, but I'm not sure on that. Do I actually win CMP there? As we're transitioning to the next battle, I'll look it up on PV Poke, the more you know. Ultra League level 50, Tapu versus Drapion. It looks like... Oh, it looks like it's Ivy dependent. So because I have a 14 attack Tapu Fini, I might actually win CMP there. But if I had like a high rank Tapu Fini, then Drapion would certainly win CMP. But yeah, my 14 attack... my 14 attack Tapu could actually win CMP there. So, bad IVs coming in handy, I guess. This crazy Alolan Muck is Acid Spray our Registeel. What a savage. What an absolute savage to Acid Spray a Registeel. I guess it's similar to Nidoqueens that would Poison Fang, but... Going for another Zap here. Like, I could just Focus Blast for less energy, but I figure, like, if he decides to shield, Oh, and actually allowed him to live with that undercharge, so probably not the right play. I am going to respect a Shadow Ball here. So a nice shield. Now we should be able to farm all the way down. What's in back? Of course, it is a fighter. Why is our Sandslash going against all these fighters? But we do have all this energy, so we're going to be able to chip quite a bit on Obstagoon. And as long as this Obstagoon does not have Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam, we should be fine. So what move's coming here? Night Slash. I'm like, okay, he Night Slashed me, so is it possible that he's running Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam? I'm just hoping that's not the case. I aggressively swap in my Tapu because I don't want to give him a chance to reach that big move. I take out Goon, which surprised me. So I guess that just kind of reveals there's no way he had Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam. Otherwise, he probably would have shielded. But not having that big move, he realized it was over and just conceded. Wall Rain. We swap straight into Reggie, and they swap in a Jelly. They swap a Jelly into our Reggie. They're living in the past when this was dominant for Jelly. I make a mistake there, sort of. I probably should have zapped before taking the Bubble Beam debuff, but I guess it doesn't matter too much since my zap still does over half. So it's not like I need 3 zaps now. I still only need 2 zaps. Now they Shadow Ball us. Do we go for another Savage Undercharge here? Slight Undercharge, but miscalculated, so it KOs anyway. In comes Dragonite, and I'm like, oh my god. We're just totally hard-walling this person. They have no answer to Registeel. They would have been better off just staying in with Wall Rain, probably. And then I end up making a really questionable play here. I give up Switch to store my Zap Cannon. I think I should be fine. And what's funny, when I was streaming these battles, I'm like, there's no way they bait me. And then they bait me. And then, so I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I just shielded that. And I'm like, all right, this time they can land the EQ. I got to save a shield for Tapu. And they try to double bait me. So I wasn't even trying to call the bait there. I was just willing to save my shield for Tapu. And then they actually tried to double bait us. So I'm like, all right, Sandslash did his job. Another bait. They love their baits. And then we combo with the Zap Cannon we had banked earlier. And our opponent top left. So I made that a little bit clunky in the end by giving up Switch, but ended up working out. And Tapu Fini got load management that game. Very nice. Oh, and I think that's all she wrote, folks. I think that's the end of the video. This was a longer one, but it actually kind of flew by. 32 minutes. That felt really fast. So that was, I believe, 12 straight wins. 12 straight wins with Tapu Fini, Registeel, Alolan Sandslash. Of course, Registeel we know is meta, but it's just so good. And then Tapu Fini, real deal. It's the real deal. I think it's one of the top picks in Open Ultra League, to be honest. And then Sandslash is kind of hit or miss, right? It's a little bit like RPS in terms of it's going to hard counter things like Cresselia. Really good matchups against like Nidoqueen, Venusaur, if you see a Venusaur. Great matchup against Giratina. But it's going to get hard countered by the fighters, which there are quite a bit of. We saw a lot of Deoxys, Scrafty, Obstagoon. So Sandslash is kind of hit or miss depending on where it gets lined up. Tapu Fini and Registeel, though, are really versatile. And Registeel, as a safe swap, can often cause a lot of problems for your opponent. So if you're trying to find a team to climb with, I recommend trying out this team. IVs are important, but they're not the end-all be-all, right? You see my Registeel and my Tapu aren't the best IVs, but still had success with this team. And yeah, if you have the Mons for it and the spare dust, I think this is a solid team to try out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Comment down below. All comments are appreciated. And subscribe if you are new and you want to hang out with me a little bit more. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.